podcast. My name is Chantel, aka Sweet Talk 777 on Instagram.
And my name is Nakima.
Cool, yeah, guys. So today we are speaking with one of our lovely friends, Charlotte. So welcome in, Charlotte.
Hey. Thank you for having me, ladies.
Thank you for being here.
Great things you're doing here.
Thank you.
So I'm really honoured. Thank you for having me.
We're grateful that you've managed to come and you've been able to be a part of this.
Indeed.
So we're going to start off probably really easily and gently. Maybe just getting you to introduce yourself to the listeners. Anything that you want them to know about yourself. And then we'll just go straight into the topic. Is that alright?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Cool, yeah.
So my day job is I'm an integrative psychotherapeutic counsellor. I have my own company called Power of Change Therapy. I have a history about 15 years in the mental health field, working as a support worker, mental health support worker, scheme manager, youth worker, elderly, you name it. I've done it all in regards to mental health.
Yeah.
I've been born and raised in Handsworth most of my life. Wouldn't change it for the world. It's got a bit of a name, but I wouldn't change my area for the world.
Yeah.
I used to live in Belgium, so I just feel that I've got a bit of multiculturalism, you know, and I'm also a Jamaican, but I also consider myself as African.
Yes, ma'am.
Woo! Sorry, I love that.
Okay, so today's topic, we're trying to look at what it's like to be a black mother. But today's topic is looking specifically more at black single mothers. And what that is like, and we're trying to get more of a perspective as maybe what it's like to be a black mother, a black single mother that's raising young boys. So Charlotte is a wonderful mother
Yes,
to
indeed.
beautiful black boys.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, Shan.
You're very
For
welcome.
real.
Just speak as a friend. So I guess my first question to you would be, what kind of issues do you find that comes up for you just as a single mother or as a single black mother, if there is any difference between the two, I guess, like just being a single mother or being a single black mother?
I think there's definitely issues being a single mother. Then if you was to have a partner, I think there's major differences. But I think the major thing that comes up to me is just loneliness, you know, just doing everything by yourself. And even though the children's father's there and he does as much as he can, it's the struggles of the morning, their mood, taking them to school, making sure they eat right, washing, cooking, and then you've got to go and work and earn a living. So in 2020 it can be tough, but I wouldn't change it for the world. But it is tough, and I don't think women, especially black women, talk about parenthood enough. From the moment we're pregnant to delivery to raising them, I don't think it's spoken about. So I applaud you and salute you for this conversation.
Thank you.
Why do you think it's not being spoken about?
Well, I think it's the society that we kind of live in. I just feel that the society we live in is just ruled by men, isn't it? And yes, we've got the feminists out there, but I don't think women really are allowed to voice their concerns and feelings freely. There isn't a forum for that. I think we have loose women, but again, I don't really see too many black women. I think there's one gorgeous Jamila on there, and they've got rid of her. So they'll have the
Judy Love on there.
Judy Love, which is good to see.
Yeah.
She's
You
really
can only have one on there at a time, maybe.
Yeah, you
Okay,
can tell that.
okay. So it would be
That's
nice just to have something made.
I love how you bypassed that. It's Charlotte, I love it.
You've got to keep it friendly, ladies.
Yes, we are. Keep it friendly.
Open to
friendly
all
show.
ears, you know.
Yes.
But yeah, it would be nice if there was a forum, I think, as black women, because we are struggling in the sense of single. We are single out here. And I think there's a lot of stories that we could share and learn from.
Agreed.
Yeah, definitely. And that was definitely the idea behind this as well, so that's great. I'm glad that you're part of that conversation.
Agreed.
So what do you think that there's any kind of... So you were actually saying, sorry, about loneliness. So is that loneliness in terms of just having to do things with the boys or with any children, I guess, but is it just about that, or is it more about the loneliness of being like single? Or
it's a bit of both. I think it's part and parcel, really. So if we just separate that a little bit and talk about raising the boys, as a mother, I'm a woman and I am an only child, in the sense of my mum's only had me, my dad's got other kids, so as an only child, I don't really know how guys should be or how they should be raised. So little things like how they wee and stuff like that. I'm like, do I teach them? Do I leave that to his dad?
It's true.
And it might seem like a minor thing, but you know, it's just those little things, and they're quite boisterous. Or like, say I've got a 4-year-old and he's watching My Little Pony. Do I worry about that? You know.
Well,
you know. It's all those kind of things that you battle with. So if you had a man there, you'd ask him and he'll be like, babe, it's all right, you know, we all go through that phase, and he'll be able to kind of feed back what that's about, or you know, it's just going places, taking them somewhere. When you're growing up in this world, you think you're going to do it with your husband or your partner, so then when you do, things don't work out, unfortunately, because I don't think anyone aims to have a single household. When it doesn't work out, it's battling and trying to work out in your head how you're going to do this by yourself and get through each day, not to mention all the things that life throws at you. And then if you look at, as a woman, I'm still a woman.
You are.
I've got needs. So when do I fulfill those needs? Because, you know, I'm a mum 24/7, so it can be really hard to have the balance, because I realised being a mum, I also need to look after Charlotte. I'm not just a mum.
Definitely.
And in order to be a fantastic mom, I need to make sure my cup is full.
Yay!
And, you know, it took me a long time to realise that. For a long time it was work, home, kids. Work, home, kids. For a very long time. And then I realised, no, I've got to have a bit of Shah time.
Definitely.
And have a little bit of fun and get out there, and, you know.
I love that, actually.
Me
and,
too.
you're right. You were Charlotte first before...
Mummy.
And then when you become mummy, it's like you just mummy. You know what I mean? And a lot of the times there is no room, or there is, in society in general, there is no leeway for you to just be who you are. And that should be okay. There's nothing. A lot of mothers say to me they feel guilty for doing things for themselves.
Definitely.
God, it took me a while to know, like, to spend some decent money on shoes. I couldn't do it.
Wow.
Couldn't do it.
So how did you then overcome? Because I'm sure
you get them everything first. You know, you get them everything, and then once you see that they've got everything, you can say, all right, go on, treat yourself, get yourself a little something. I can do that. I'm allowed to do that.
Well,
now.
even you saying little, you should get a big something.
Why not? Get a big thing.
Just keep it humble, girls.
Sorry.
But how would you say that? So especially, I guess, for maybe new mothers, how would you say that it's possible to maybe fit in that, you know, me time? Because it is important. Like, it's important for everybody to have some self-care, just so that you're able to recharge for those little human beings, you know what I mean? So
really
like,
good
how would
question.
you
Really
do
good
that?
question. I think what I would say is it's about time management, and try and look within your family for babysitters. Get that sorted from the get-go. And what I mean by that is, if you can build a good reputation with nanny and granddad and aunt and uncles, then the little ones can go to them like, at least like one Saturday or a weekend at grandma's and granddad's, and that gives you like a weekend to yourself once a month. So that's how you begin to plan. And I always think you've got to plan happiness in, so you've got to kind of plan a couple months ahead how this is going to happen, especially if you're a single mom. Don't think you're doing it by yourself, because what do we say, girls? It takes a community.
It does.
Do you know what I mean?
Does.
It really does. And you want your kids to go to nan and granddad's to pick up those old ways of porridge in the morning. Do you know what I mean?
Know how to do that.
Tidy up the yard.
Yes.
Come out to the front room.
Yes.
Come out of the pot.
Right? Come out to the pot. So it's
That
really
loving,
good that you send them off. They get a little break from you, and they appreciate you as well. Mommy, I miss you. Kids need to miss you. And sometimes, you know, we're really like fearful of letting other people look after our children. But as long as you've vetted them, done your little risk assessment, I'd say pre-plan and make sure you get your babysitting sorted.
Yes, that sounds really good.
Because that was my next question. Because there are people out there who are single mothers who don't necessarily rely upon their siblings or their parents or their children's grandparents because of maybe relationship breakdown, or maybe they don't know them that well, or maybe they don't, you know, trust You know what I mean? 'Cause you have to be careful, like you said.
You do have to be careful where you leave your
vetting.
kids. Yeah.
I think that's a big thing, a lot for people. You know what I mean? So, thankfully, it sounds as though that your vets all went through and you're all blessed. I'm assuming. Good. But for those who don't have that privilege of having that community, if you like,
or maybe even having a big family that you can do that.
I don't know if we could suggest something. I don't know what.
But there's godmothers, isn't it? And then your friends become family. I think I'm a single only child, so my friends are my sisters.
Yeah.
They're my godmothers. My sons are their little boys. I mean, I wouldn't say I let them stop there a lot, but when I need them, I know I've got someone that's reliable and will look after my children as if it was their own. And vice versa. I hope they could come to me, and I want them to come to me.
That sounds good. I love that too, because then I know when I have kids.
I was gonna say,
bring them girls, bring them to shop.
And likewise,
Charlotte could teach you to do your makeup, baby. Go. Okay, cool. So I'm trying to go back to what you were saying about maybe bringing up boys as well. So you were saying like it would be nice to have someone to kind of balance or bounce it off of, like, you know, their experiences off of, or maybe things that they do, and trying to, you know, be able to have a reference point, I guess, for yourself. So in light of the fact that even though their dad is around, so in light of the fact that maybe he's not around 100% of the time as it would be if you had a partner living with you and so on, how do you deal with those kind of moments where you kind of, you know, start thinking about, oh, I don't know if that's right, I don't know if this is right, so on and so forth.
So what you're kind of asking me is, how do I kind of check out those moments when I'm going through stuff with my kids? Who do I go to? What do I do? So I probably would perhaps go to someone like my dad or a male figure. But I tend to just talk to my boys and just check in with them first of all, like what that's about, if there's any issues, and then I'll go to their dad. I really try and have a really good communication with dad, and anything that really worries me, I will go to dad first. So I'm a big fan of talking. You know, go to my elders, my aunts, my cousins, anyone that will listen. And then what I do is I collab like all the data on different people, and then I'll pick bits out. Is that wrong?
No, it's not that it's wrong. I just love the fact that she said I'm gonna collab all the data.
You know what?
Like, I have done my research.
That's what we do, guys. That's what we do.
It is what we do.
But you know,
it is what we do. I love it. It's like, I'm going to nail this research. I'm gonna nail it.
It's
That's
true
right.
though.
But it's good.
Yeah, you have to do that, and then find out what might work, because you know your children, like, you know, better
parents just don't get a manual. And what I found with my parents or my elders around me is they thought they knew everything, and sometimes, you know, you're right as a child, and they just didn't want to admit that. I don't want to be that kind of parent. So what I'll try and do is check in with the kids, check in with the dad, and just check in with everyone and see what they would do, and then check in with my gut feeling and what my mind tells me, and then hopefully try and see where I get the balance, but also just have that allowance that I can get it wrong.
And it's okay.
It's okay to get it wrong.
It's absolutely okay, because at the end of the day, it's not, because of we're having that level of self-awareness, the detriment to your youngster is not going to be that bad, because you've got that self-awareness. Do you know what I mean? And because we're in this field as well, we can try and manage that in a way. So you don't have to be in this field. It's just the knowledge that we have. Do you know what I mean? There's many people who don't or are not in this field and have knowledge.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So I appreciate you putting out.
Did you feel any like specific pressures when becoming a mum? Or especially when you kind of realise that you're going to be a single mum, were there any pressures
with
that you...
having boys, the pressure is you don't want them in that gang life, do you? So that's one. So how do I have a balance of my son being, you know, cool kid at school that's not going to get bullied, but also not an idiot that's like gonna be on country lines and stuff. So it's getting constantly that balance. And then also my other fear is blackness, because we live in a white country. How do I interject blackness in my home where it's not perceived as like prejudice and stuff? And I battled that along for a while, because say, for example, my kids wanted hair like freaking, what's that Marvel character? Captain America.
Oh, okay.
And Hulk, and like I was like, son, you can't get that hairstyle. So there's not much black superheroes. We've got Falcon. So, and you don't know that until you have your kids. You don't even think like that.
Yeah, it's true.
I think maybe when you were a girl, you realise, okay, there's not many black dolls, but I know you could search for black dolls. I know you can.
There's more now, but
there's more now, but there's not many for boys. There's not many action heroes for boys, or black toys for boys, or boys seeing themselves on telly little. Even when we was a kid, we had Hey Arnold.
I used to love Hey Arnold. Oh my
Hey
God.
Arnold was the one little black boy.
Yeah, with the big old high.
But that black boy was so knowledgeable.
Cool. He was.
He was the one. He was the oracle, really.
Really and truly, he was.
Even X-Men, we had Storm, so there was the odd token blackness. Or we had Desmond's on telly.
Come on now.
Right,
Real
what
McCoy.
do we have now?
Yeah.
What do we have now? I have to watch American stuff.
Yeah.
American music's a bit like sweary-ish, so it's just it's tough out here. It's tough. But one Ra Marie from Patty Gift, she gave me some really good advice, which was have no apologies. It's your house. That's one place where you can actually be pure black and be unapologetic for it. Because where else is he going to get that outside of the household? He's not, is he? Or her. So that released me. And there's things that I will say to my kids, and they might even go to school and tell the teachers, well, I'll stand by it. You know, like I'll say to him, you're a king. And then he'll go to school and says, my mummy says I'm a king. And then the teacher will go, did you tell such and such he was a king? And I was like, yes. Yeah, he's a king back home, he's a chief. And she's like, oh, okay.
Love
it. And then like, I'll say to my son, he's a scientist. And then they'll tell him, no, you should be a wrestler.
What?
Okay, or a basketballer. Okay, so you see what we're battling with, girls.
Yeah, I do.
Yes, I do.
You see
There's
it?
an institution.
So we have to have so much black images in the household because we don't see enough of it on telly. Like my son loves straight hair. And it's sad.
But there's billions of pounds and dollars going into
that.
Our children thinking that way.
Yeah, there is.
There's trillions of probably pounds going into it, to be fair, for your child to think a certain way.
Yeah.
And for us to think a certain way. And the fact that we don't, and we've got that battle going on, something's coming through, you know what I mean? So, in a way, because I could relate to that when I was younger, I didn't necessarily like being black. I didn't. Because I felt like being black, bad things happen. We would be less likely to do this.
Well,
or
black's bad, isn't
yeah,
it? And
yeah,
white's
absolutely.
nice, and angels are white, and
Absolutely.
black's dirty, and
absolutely.
you know,
and I had to
the
battle.
devil's black.
Yeah, the whole negative, connotations. I had to battle with that.
Yeah. White sugar. Everything's white.
White
Milk.
And then we found out that brown sugar's better for you than white sugar. But there we go.
now we know dairy's not, and everything white's bad. You're so right.
White bread is terrible.
In a way, your youngsters growing up now, where I think there's a wokeness happening.
Oh yes.
And a friend of mine was telling me about talking to this one woman who's got a 13-year-old, and he was quite surprised that she loved her hair, afro hair. And he was like, oh, doesn't she like it straight or want it straight? And he says, well, she grew up in an area where black women are embracing the afro from when she was about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 growing up. So all she knows is that. So there is a wokeness. I don't know if that's a saving grace for you youngsters or
do you know
youngsters.
what? Because I talk to my kids and I make sure they're woke, okay? So we know about Revelation chapter 1 verse 13.
Okay.
People read.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
that's in the New Testament for those of you who don't know.
Go on. It's about Jesus, right? So my son is woke and he is 8 and he's seeing things and he'll come and The running joke in our house at the moment is, Mum, do you know, like when we're watching a movie, Mum, look, they just killed the black man. Within 5 minutes of the movie, right, someone's dead. And he's making that assumption. He's making that connection. Yeah. Or he's saying, well, where's the black people? Mm-hmm. But my son, who's 8, by the time he was like 5, he went to Barbados, he went to Jamaica.
Nice.
He's gone to Paris. And the first thing that he said when he went to Jamaica was, there's so many black people, Mum. And he was like 3. So at 3 years of age, people, we need to take our babies abroad to see their own colour, because what they think, they're in this world and they have to conform to it. When they realise that actually they've got their own world and we weren't brought here, and you start explaining what this is about to them, it releases them, and they understand. Like, my kids are aware of slavery and they're 4 and 8, and they need to be aware of it, because no one's putting my babies in a box. No one's squashing them in.
So they're telling them they're just a basketball player.
Okay. And even that, my son came home and he's like, Mum, imagine she's telling me about wrestling and I want to be a scientist and an astronaut, because that's where I'm telling my son, you know, think outside the box.
And there's no reason why you can't be a scientist or astronaut. In fact, we're the people that got them to the moon.
Okay.
The first time. If y'all don't know, just check out the movie. Taraji P. Henson, big ups. So, anyway, we'll slide over that one too. Hidden figures. We will slide over that real quick. Anywho, so actually, I really like the way that you were talking about like having got over some of those issues, especially with the teachers. And I think that I would say, even though I'm not a mum, that is something that I have seen and experienced for myself, is that teachers do tend to, unfortunately, put children in boxes.
It's their preconceived, isn't it?
It is a preconceived idea. And I mean, even, catch joke, I went to a grammar school, and I remember clear as day that I had a teacher that told me, maybe university's not for you. Now, I'm in a grammar school.
Wow.
Which means that you have to pass a test to say that you're intelligent enough to even get into the school. You've gotten into the school, you've done pretty decently in exams or whatever, and you've still got a teacher that tells you maybe university's not for you.
Wow.
It's a bit...
It's bizarre, isn't it? I argue, how do they get taught to be...
Why would he say that as a teacher?
It was a she. It was a female teacher.
Why would she say that? What do you think... What was her intention, do you think?
She boxed her?
Yeah. I think at the time, she... And I have dyslexia, but nobody knew at the time either.
Yeah.
But I think that it was because she didn't know how to teach me. That was the issue.
So
and
she made it you a problem.
Pretty much, it's like it's a you problem rather than a me problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that and that has more or less been my issue when I go through education anyway, is that I have to teach myself because teachers can't really teach me. And it just is what it is.
But look at that, you're dyslexic and you got into grammar school.
Yeah. But you're still telling me at the same time that I can't.
But what if you was a child that really hung on to those teachers?
That's the
teachers are. We were taught that teachers, we must listen to them.
Exactly.
They're right.
Exactly.
That could have really penetrated you and impacted your choices and decisions. That's really like wow.
Of course it could, and I think if I didn't come from like a household where you're instilling beliefs into your children that actually you can do whatever you want to do, you can be blah blah blah, you can be X, Y, and Z. You don't have to be that or that. Because I think she was telling me I should be a secretary or some kind of something.
Needs fly kicking. Sorry.
See it.
Let me hold it.
Well, to me, that's quite tell someone to be a secretary.
That's what she believed would be good. I mean, I have good organisational skills. I'd be a secretary, but at the same time,
is a bit more, upper class.
Well,
a CEO even.
Well, I would prefer CEO personally, but there we go. But yeah, I think like I definitely feel as though it's a whether you're a single mother or just a parent, definitely instilling into your children like you are doing that you should definitely aim for whatever it is you're aiming for. That's the only reason why I think she couldn't deter me was because actually my parents had already said, well, no, you can do X, you can do Y, you can do Z. If you feel like you want to be a secretary, that's up to you. If that's what you want to do. But actually no, you could be a scientist, you could be a chemist, you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, you could pick something and go for you, basically. I really do applaud you for doing that with your sons as well, especially like you said with the teacher telling him you should be a wrestler or a basketball. Dear God. Wow. So I guess we've identified one of the issues as being like social.
Yeah.
Just to bring down that a little bit.
Preconceived notions, what they project onto you. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Do you feel like there's any other preconceived notions, maybe not towards the boys, but maybe towards you, as a single mum or as a black mum, at all?
Where would that come from? Do you think?
Sorry, maybe like, maybe people's ideals of what a black mum looks like or a black single mum looks like. Maybe stigmas that maybe come around from it or anything like that.
No one doesn't really know you're a single mum, really.
Okay.
So no.
That's cool. That's good. That's just as good.
I haven't gone in Asda and been like, hey, there's a single mum.
Stop.
Get up.
What about, right, so maybe not in Asda, but like in your family or even in your ex-partner's family, like, is there any...
I think maybe, the ones that might be married or aunties maybe that might have had high expectations of you and,
Yeah.
People might have thought, Charlotte, you could have turned out a bit better. I expected you to get married first,
Yeah.
I wanted that for myself, but hey ho, such is life, and people can have those expectations, but I've got to live my life, and
Of course.
what will be and what has happened has happened, and I think God does everything for a reason,
Absolutely.
Most definitely. Okay. And what would you say maybe is your... Well, I'm going to ask you two last questions. So what would you say your biggest struggle is so far as a single mum?
I think I'm going to just take it back to, maybe it's to go a bit deeper into the loneliness and what I mean by it. I just feel like men need to fix up, really, just because we've broken up, whether whose fault it is or not, and normally it's the men's, isn't it? Let's get it.
No judgment.
No judgment. All right, let's bring it back
Go
a bit.
ahead, yeah, go ahead.
Let's not blame, but for whatever reason we break up, and I think men need to stop and look at history. Just look back a little bit. Their dads are from England, born here. Their dads, grandparents are from Jamaica. So we've come from Jamaica. Our granddads have come over. They've got loads of women with loads of kids, because our grandparents have got like 10, 15 kids, right? 14 kids even, yeah? And then there's our parents now who, they've got 2 or 3 kids. But again, the men have got kids all over the place. And then now we're moving into the millenniums, and again, the men are still cheating. And in fact, they know they're hot commodity, because what we've got now is some of them are locked up, some of them are gay, some of them are dating interrelationally, some of them haven't even got a job. So the ones that are left are like, the cream of the crop. So the ones that are the cream of the crop, god damn, as a father, they're like, yeah, I'm busy, I'm working, that kind of stuff. I've got to make money, and they know that there's stuff. So we're battling with a lot with our black guys. We're battling a lot. So if we break up as a couple, I think there needs to be a conversation of how's it going to look raising our kids. As a man, what are you going to now do? As a woman, I shouldn't tell you to provide money to clothe your kids, to put gas and electric, because I'm going to do that anyway. Standard, I'm going to feed them, clothe them, boom, 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 us women, we got it like that. But then you expect us to be like that. Well, what are you doing? So if you haven't got a job or you haven't got money, then you come with, you make sure you do the pickups, or you're present with your kids. Now, for me, it's about the presentness. So some mans, I find the mans from our era, whose dads, have had bare children all over the place. What I find with them is they do go for their kids, they do play football with them, but then it kind of just stops there a little bit, and it's like our boys need more. Our boys need a lot more than that. Our boys, in fact, are very emotional creatures. I've got girls, but you never know, say boys are this sensitive, right? Very sensitive, and They need to know what's right and wrong, and a woman can't teach a boy everything.
No.
Because by the time they get to a 12, boys will stop listening to mummy. Mummy has taught them enough. Yeah. After that, it's their friends. And if dad hasn't been present up to 12, and I'm talking present, you need to be going picking up your kids every week.
All right.
Yeah. You need to be checking that they've got there's no holes in their school shoes. You're checking their school clothes. You're on a mental level with that son. How was your day to day? Every man should be calling their picnic every day.
Yes.
Right? Not just at the weekend.
No.
Not just when you're coming to pick them up. Phone them in.
But actually having a relationship. No, go for it, man. I love it. I love it. Go on.
Right. So there needs to be this and as a woman, before you take up the man and go and have picnic with them, you need to know you've got a man where you can sit down, and if it all goes wrong, you can have this conversation with it. Yeah. Definitely. And man, them you like need to start thinking it's my baby mother, and I'm gonna get back in the crutches, because the more time you're messing up the head.
You're right.
The head, the woman's head. It's not good that the woman is low and sad.
Definitely, you destabilise the home that you're sitting in. Yeah, it's true.
So for me, God is at the head. Then it's my man, then it's the woman, then it's my kids. Now, the woman needs looking after by the man. Whether we're together or not, you need to make sure, baby mother, my friend, yo, is everything good? And if I haven't got as a man, then you need to say, Charlotte, I haven't got it this month, or I can't pick them up this month. I know I've slacked, but can I come this month? There needs to be that level of awareness from the man. Don't just... because it's not said by her, you're going to ignore it, because women don't want to be nagging. We can't keep... We're not your mothers.
No.
We don't. We have our own kids to raise. So we can't come keep preaching to you, Carl. We're not sexing you no more. So we want you to do good by your own picnic.
Most
now,
definitely.
if you invest good in your kids from day one, you're going to see the results later. And the results is not just education. Your kids are going to care about you, because I've seen too many boys, once they get to a certain age, born dad. Where was you?
Definitely.
No, you're a father, you're a dad by name, but you ain't my dad. You get me? Where was you at football matches? Mum taught me. But, yo, man, them listen, Carl. When you're 50, 60, look, frail up, and you want that relationship with your son, and they're not there, then that turns them into anger, and it's a cycle again.
Yeah, it does,
and they're jumping from next woman to next woman, because that's all they've seen. So the black men in our community is a reflection of what we've been doing. And the black woman, for me, we're not. No one's perfect. We are angry. We have got our own issues, but we need this conversation. Maybe we should have this with men next time too.
Yeah, we're going to.
We need to have more male and female conversation to, work together at building kings and queens. Because I just feel like the loneliness for me is the man them. Like, even your uncle sometimes, they could call you and say, what go on with the boy them? You want to come round and play two chess or domino, or, the uncles,
just something to
if they know you've got man then, because they know what's going to happen with these boys once they get to a certain age. So the uncles need to plant the seed, so your boys know everyone's got their back. Cousins, uncle, dad. We need the community. Do you know what I mean?
I hear you.
So my thing with loneliness is that really, it's just, I don't mind, going to work, looking after my kids, but it's that just realising I have to do everything, go to parents' evenings by myself, because a man thinks it's a woman's job, or they'll care about that when they're at secondary school. No, these teachers need to see mum and dad boom from the get-go. When they see that, the teachers are frightened to come deal with your kid, correct? You get me? But whether you're together or not, or you can't stand your partner or not, I think we need to scratch that. You got kings and queens, and you need to constantly be a role model. Mummy and daddy aren't together, but we love you enough to do right by you and continue these conversations to raise you right. Because kids also manipulate parents. They know mommy and daddy ain't talking. Well, daddy says I can have the pad. Did he? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hear that.
It's resonating with me what you're saying, and I can't help but thinking about my father.
Okay, share.
And thinking about my not only my father, thinking about my grandfather as well. And you're absolutely right. And when you were speaking as well with that loneliness, I was thinking there's a lack of emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
deep.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I thought to myself, we're asking for what we need from these fathers and these uncles and these role models, but I don't think, not even, some of them haven't got that level of intelligence that we need, and some of them are not willing to get it either.
Some of them may not even know.
Yeah.
That could be a whole other thing.
A lot of subconscious stuff.
Yeah, so a lot of them, and I think as well, because I've seen a lot of single mums, especially, but mums just do it so almost effortlessly.
Yeah.
Then sometimes I think maybe that they don't even recognize, or they don't even realize that they might need help, or they might need support, because they just kind of see it as like, well, you know, they've got through it.
But you know, my argument with that is women, we need to stop doing everything, because
Definitely.
you know what I'm finding out when I start looking at the stats now and I'm going to funerals, are the women I pop down first? Okay. So the men are living longer. You understand? Because when you check it, they're not getting enough. No, everybody live, right? But I'm just saying, that's the profession that we do, girls. Am I right or wrong? Stress is a killer.
Definitely.
Number one.
So if I just reflect on the journey of just pregnancy, you're creating life that you need to be of a happy mindset. And then that 9 months you're carrying, and then you deliver, and then you've got this newborn. And if you're anything like me, I wasn't maternal at all for this. I didn't know how to change a nappy at first. Like, this was fresh to me. So everything was new. Oh God, I've lost my train of thought there. So everything was just kind of new. So it's tough. It's really tough as a mother, and I think guys need to kind of have that emotional intelligence to realise, yes, we are women and we do have boobs and we are supposed to do the rearing, but it needs to be really 50-50, and especially if we're vulnerable, we're pregnant, and we're working, and we're coming home cooking. Come on, guys, there needs to be a balance. There needs to be... We've got to stop our women, you know, cook the dinner and clean the house, and I think that's just needs to be binned. Yeah, it needs to be binned.
Big time.
I think there needs to be that communication though. So I'm glad that we're having this conversation. But I really do. I don't know. I mean, there might be some men that do know that and just sit down and see it and don't give two hoots. But I think there probably are genuinely men that might even be listening to this, or just may not even know that this is a need. Do you get what I mean? So because I said, because we do and we do so well, like some people may not even know that you need that help.
And I think you've just hit the nail on the head, because when I was in my relationship, I thought a relationship was cook, clean, you know, be there for my man, look after the kids. But then when I was in it, I was like, oh, is this it? I need something more than this. This is a bit dry. Like, you know, okay. I'm doing the housewife stuff, and what was missing was that intimacy, the realness. We think it's like this, but when we're actually doing it, no, it's not.
Agreed.
And I think really there just needs to be that real honesty and that real truth. And I think it's a team effort. Raising a family is team. So if he's working and I don't mind looking after the kids, great. And also, I actually, when we're rearing kids, I do think as a woman we need to start working. Ideally, if I was rich, I wouldn't go to work straight. I'll be at home with my kids, baking, coming in. How was your day?
Doing homework with them,
every day, every night, walking to school, taking them on the bikes,
100%.
jogging to school, everything. You know, until they're 18. And my kids will be in Oxford.
It's true.
if that was the case.
I hear that.
But I know I can't do that, so there's going to be a compromise. Birmingham University. So, so, and if you look at the Asian community, which I actually love how they do things, which is nobody moves until they have a house. So when we get married in the Asian community, the wife comes into a house full of family, auntie, uncle. Everyone's there. They're all working to pay that one mortgage. And what also happens in that household is that child has so much support. So much support. It's unbelievable. And then once then the next person gets their house done, and if it's a happy Asian family, that really works really well.
Yeah, it can work well.
There's something with black people and independence where, you know, come out to me house, you're big enough, fuck off, you know, excuse my French.
True. Yeah,
True.
Sorry.
No,
It's
you're
alright that will get muted.
Oh, sorry.
You're alright.
It's alright.
So, you know, we have to check ourselves because really, we have been divided as Jamaicans and conquered and spread around the world. Our culture, our religion, everything's been taken away from us.
As black people or as Jamaicans?
Well, as, first of all, Jamaican, I'm Jamaican.
Oh,
As Jamaicans especially, that's what's happened.
Okay.
Yeah? No other race can say that they've been scattered over the world and they were taken in shackles. So Jamaicans are the only ones that, well, Africans.
West Indians.
West Indians.
Yeah.
That's happened too.
So,
So, as Africans, we're in a different country with a different culture, a different language. How we would have perhaps raised our children's been taken away from us.
Right.
So what we must now do is wake up and realise we cannot continue to keep plodding along, doing what we've been doing. No, we have to actually find out what were our people doing thousands of years quite comfortably before they were taken away, robbed and raped.
Definitely.
And I think those cultures and traditions, if we're not careful, the Western world's going into Africa and turning it upside down like they've done all over the world, and Africans are shaking off their tribal culture, which is a shame, and coming more Western, like they all want to be like Americans. So people, I think we need to go back to Africa or go back into our books and really try and understand what culture is. For example, I don't know if anyone's seen The Underground. I highly recommend people to watch The Underground.
Netflix.
And that, what touched me with that film on Netflix or that box set was that what's the main character called?
Oh God.
You know, the traditions, or was it Roots? But the traditions of what they do with a child, where they hold the child up to the sky and name him or her.
Oh, okay, the naming ceremony.
The naming ceremony. These are the things that are quite precious to us. So
spiritual.
So if that's just with naming, imagine what else we did with raising our sons. That's just naming.
That is just
calling upon our ancestors that have passed before.
It's true. It's absolutely true. And it's interesting you saying that, actually, because I feel like the society, I think we spoke about this previously on another podcast, saying how it can be quite individualistic, the society.
Yeah.
Even back in the day, when our grandparents first came over, they had no choice but to stay in each other's houses.
Yeah,
and they
shared houses,
they shared with Asians as well. Asians and blacks together in one house.
And there was, I think, the black pound back then was a lot more stronger.
Yeah.
There was a partner. There was, listen, the aunt of the road bring a patacom to the family down the, you know what I mean? I don't know my neighbours like that, my black neighbour. I do look out for them, but I don't know them like that.
Yeah.
And it's just such a shame. It is, and we haven't got that collectivism, which is what you were saying before. Ancient traditions were quite collective. And it's like using a good friend of mine, Adrian Anderson, big ups. He was saying it's like trying to upload a Android program on an iPhone. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna work as effectively as
it would do on an Android.
Yeah.
It's very true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why are we using the wrong antidote for these
for these issues that we go through? It's I'd agree with that. All right, so very, very last question now. So I promise.
Go on.
Oh, lovely. That's what I like
Brilliant.
to hear.
It's what we like
element,
to hear,
yeah.
which means that you're coming back at some point.
Oh, great.
So, the very last question is, what would you say your biggest triumphs have been as a single mom?
I love that question.
So many.
Well, they're still alive.
You know what I mean? There will be more, but you know.
Yeah.
Just so far.
If we just talk about birth, having a natural birth. So I had one. My first son wasn't natural. That was a C-section.
Okay.
And what I realised was I was under pressure with the first one, so I was nervous. I didn't know how much pain I was going to get. I was panicky. I don't know how long this was going to last for. What's this happening to my hips going out like this?
Yeah.
So I was just so unsure of things. And through that unsureness, I got myself in a pickle. I had epidural, everything, emergency C-section.
Wow.
So that was son. So my second son, I was like, no. I'm going to have a natural delivery.
Okay.
And I did.
Mm-hmm.
I was calmer. I didn't have any gas or air.
Wow.
Just nothing. Just nothing.
Talk
and
about a soldier.
Warrior F.
But
You
you
know
know
what I
what?
mean?
It wasn't even a soldier. It's calm. Realise what your body's doing. Your body's trying to get baby out.
Yeah.
So that's all. So that little, which is the contractions, just feel it. And when you feel it and just embrace the pain, I'm not saying there was no pain.
Of course.
But it wasn't as bad as the first time when I was tense,
Got you.
fearful of the pain. Like, oh, it's coming, I'm going.
So you sent your body into kind of like a shock kind of mode.
Yeah. So that stress, that's what stress does to you.
Yeah.
It makes more pain. And
Yeah,
this
it
is
does.
what I want to just get home in on your listeners, is that when you're relaxed and breathing, the body's just amazing and it does what it needs to do. I popped him out in 40 minutes. The contrast of my two children are really different. They're both beautiful kids.
They are.
I love them both equally.
Yeah.
And I love the contrast because one's cool and calm and one's frisky. Frisky, vibrant.
Love it.
But I love them both.
Yeah.
And I think for me, because I'm similar to you, I'm dyslexic.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why I'm dyslexic, because I lived in England, went to Belgium, had to speak fluent Dutch and write it, and then come back and it just messed up
Yeah.
at that crucial stage how to do my spellings.
Mm.
And then I always thought for a long time I wasn't that bright because I couldn't spell.
Yeah.
And you're made to feel like that at
That's
school.
right.
And similar to you, actually, my teacher said I wanted to be a psychiatrist because I watched Jodie Foster in Hannibal Lecter.
Okay.
Does anybody watch what Silence of the
Silence
Lambs?
of the Lambs.
And I saw Jodie and I was like, I want that job. I want to help people like that in prisons. So I said I want to do that. And the teacher said, you can't do that. They don't have placements for psychiatrists. So you'll have to go and do hair and beauty.
What?
I know.
Wait, hold on. It went from psychiatrist to hair and beauty.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So I went and done hair and beauty. And I actually loved the placement.
Yeah.
And I decided to do hair and beauty.
Of course.
But on the course, I had to go for a dyslexic assessment. And this gave me the first bit of confidence, which was my IQ was above average.
Yes.
And it was a tool for me to learn. And the teacher said, Charlotte, you've got to give up either beauty or the hair. You can't do two of them. It's a bit too much. I said, well, I'm not failing at any, so I don't know why you're telling me to do that. When I fail at one, then you can kick me off the one that I'm failing. Anyway, graduated, passed. At the end of it, when you're finished as a beauty therapist, you know every frigging bone, shaft, body, follicle, muscle in the body. I was like a doctor at the end of it. So I was like, if I can do that, I'm going to go and do what I want to do, which was a psychiatrist. Well, I knew better when I found out about therapy. I became a psychotherapist.
Yeah.
So going through academia myself and going through a master's, education is really important to me now.
Yeah.
And my parents wanted education for me, but they didn't invest how I invest in my kids now.
Sure.
So my kids are very intelligent. My son's like one of the top in his class.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
you know, they both love school. So that's what I'm happy about. I don't know if that's a good thing, you know, with fitting in with the Joneses, but I'm happy
No,
that.
because you're excelling the Joneses, mate. He's at the top of the class.
You know.
So we excelled the Joneses.
Yeah. And so much so, you know, the boys of the school, like the school love them. And I'm just proud that my kids are aware of their colour. They're proud to be African, Jamaican, because they're dual heritage, so their dad's Nigerian. I don't know, there's so many moments. I think I'm proud of myself for just doing it and
Love that.
because it is hard, and sometimes I'd cry, like, how am I going to do this, how am I going to feed them, you know, studying girls, doing my master's, not making much money.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm at the sunny bit now where I own my own business. You know, I feel quite good in my business. I'm doing really well.
Yeah.
Guys, if you want some therapy, power of change therapy, okay, email me.
Yeah,
You're
we will invoice you for that advertisement. I'm joking. Go ahead.
Right. Email me. Instagram coming soon.
I want it. I'm joking. No, go ahead.
So, there was a dark time where I thought, God, what kind of mum am I? But I had to sit down with my kids and say, look, Mummy is studying, Mummy is working, Mummy can't do what she used to do. And and I promised them after studying, you know, mommy, they'll have mommy back, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
But they need one thing that they saw mommy do is study.
Yeah.
So that's not strange to them. So
Yeah.
adults, we must do what we're asking them to do. We've got to do it. Otherwise,
Most
we can't ask
definitely.
them.
Yes.
You know, if you all say go read your book and you haven't picked up a newspaper or magazine and
Yeah.
you're up on your phone,
Yeah.
your kids will soon tell you where you're always on your
your
phone
phone
because
as well,
mine
yeah.
are quick
It's true,
to.
you know.
You know.
True.
And I allow my kids to speak from the heart. As a parent, I don't have this, you know, watch who you're talking to. I'm the adult.
Yeah.
Speak from your heart, but be manageable
Manageable,
and
yeah.
respectful.
Mhm.
Then we can go far.
So
So
now. Sorry, I like those bars. I
Yes.
like those drops.
Yes.
I love those ones.
I feel I'll go on, you know.
Love it. Love it. But you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
You're right. Practice what you preach in a sense.
Mm.
Show.
Definitely.
Actually, sometimes I heard as well how actually if you do want a child or someone to change their behaviour,
You have to model it.
yes. I love this girl.
Yeah.
You can't just tell them.
You have
Show
to
them.
model
Show
it. You
them.
have to show them.
Like in my household, we're trying to go vegan, so they'll see me like sucking the meat and chewing it out. And one of my sons loves meat, but already he's understanding, like, we're letting go of meat now.
Yeah.
My other son's vegan, he's already saying, I'm a pescatarian, I'm vegan, that's frisky one. So he's already there on it.
Yeah.
And again, with my kids, you don't have a manual. So when I wasn't woke, my son ate everything dairy. When I was woke, my youngest one now, I made him a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't even like the texture of meat in his mouth.
Sorry.
So
Watch the vegetarian in the corner. All right. Anyway, go ahead.
So, you know,
Extra
that's
nice.
just to say to you,
No, I'm joking.
it's never too change. It's never too late to change,
Yeah.
and just try and do better for your kids. You know, we're always learning, always try and reflect and think, what could I do differently today to make my sons the kings? Because we're raising kings and queens people, and if we can constantly tell my sons they're great, they are the best every
Yeah.
morning, they are the best. Ever get stuck, ask God for help.
Yeah.
Remember you're the best. Remember you're a king. Don't let
Yeah.
no one take. You know, you give them that boost talk in the morning. My kids just walk in like they're the boss.
Yes. Yes.
Kings.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Charlotte, my girl, thank you so much for coming. I'm
Oh, thank
so grateful for your sharing your story today. It's been great. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you, girl.
Thank
We will
you.
definitely have you back at another time.
Thank you for having me. Great stuff, ladies.
Yes. Sorry, listeners, guys, thank you for jumping in and listening. And we will see you next time on the Sweet Talks podcast. Bye-bye.
Bye.